Hello, Nasdaq followers. My name is Jordan Sachs, and welcome to this edition of Behind the Bell. It's my privilege to have with us today Genfit Chief Operating Officer Dean Hum. Dean, welcome. And today, your company listed on Nasdaq, and you have a focus on developing solutions for liver disease. So, super important topic, and we're very pleased to have you with us today. So, congratulations on the IPO, and welcome to the Nasdaq family.
Thank you so much, Jordan. Thank you for the invitation. Happy to be here.
Great. And can you tell us a little more about the origins of Genfit?
Well, Genfit was founded in 1999, so we're headquartered in France. And from the very beginning, really, Genfit is a company that's focused on metabolic disease. Okay, and this is how we got into this particular liver disease we'll talk about today, which is NASH, which pretty much is the liver manifestation of metabolic disease. Okay, so really the origins of Genfit is really based on our expertise in that disease area, but also we have a particular know-how and expertise in a well-known therapeutic target class called nuclear receptors. Okay, and this is something that we are targeting with NASH. With elafibranor, we're targeting two specific nuclear receptors.
Wow. Now, my understanding is that NASH affects over 10% of U.S. adults globally, and even globally, the population as well.
Yeah.
Tell us more about why it's so important that we address this topic.
Yeah, great question. I mean, if we think about the U.S. population, and you're right, about 10% of the adult U.S. population have NASH. Okay, so what NASH is, it's a severe form of fatty liver disease. And when we say severe form, it's really patients who have NASH, that disease is associated with increased overall mortality, increased prevalence of type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular events, and so on. So this, considering the high prevalence and considering that NASH patients, if the liver disease is not treated, NASH can progress to liver cirrhosis as well as late stage disease like liver cancer and so on. So this is why the treatment of NASH and to find a therapeutic solution for NASH is so important for the FDA, for example, because this is a high unmet need area, and you really want to be able to treat these patients before they progress to very late stage disease.
Interesting. So can you tell us a little more about what Genfit's innovative program offers?
So our program, the drug is called elafibranor. Like I mentioned, it targets two nuclear receptors. And by targeting two nuclear receptors, elafibranor provides multiple activities. Okay, and these multiple activities are all important for the treatment of NASH. We have to realize that NASH, being a metabolic disease, have many different facets to it. Okay, so with elafibranor, we have clearly demonstrated in an earlier stage clinical trial that elafibranor is able to resolve NASH, meaning it's able to get rid of the NASH. Okay, and another important aspect with elafibranor is that it decreases cardiovascular risk factors. Okay, so a little detail there. NASH patients, the leading cause of mortality in NASH patients is cardiovascular events. Okay, so I think having a drug that is able to get rid of the disease, that's able to resolve NASH, combined with a decrease in cardiovascular risk factors, I think that's very important. And of course, NASH patients will probably require long-term treatment. NASH patients are it's an asymptomatic disease. Okay, so that's why having a drug like elafibranor, which is very safe, okay, no safety issues, no tox issues, and no tolerability issues. Okay, so this is also something that's very important in the profile of elafibranor.
I couldn't agree with you more. It's such interesting work. We're very honored to have you as part of the Nasdaq family. Can you tell us a little bit about your decision to list here in the U.S., but more specifically, listing here on Nasdaq?
Yes, of course. So, of course, listing on the NASDAQ is something that we have been planning for a long time now. And this is really an important step for Genfit as a company at a corporate level because, there are a lot of NASH patients here in the United States. And it's important to note that there are no approved treatments, for the treatment of NASH. And so I think elafibranor can provide a lot of benefit to NASH patients. And I think the United States represents really a large market opportunity for elafibranor. So as we prepare for commercialization, because let's remember, elafibranor right now is in a phase 3 trial, and we will be reading out top-line results towards the end of this year. So as we prepare for commercialization, it's important for us to be here in the United States to build our presence, to build a notoriety of Genfit. We also have a footprint here in the United States. We have facilities in Boston and Cambridge, Massachusetts, and we have really a well-qualified team, a very talented team working on clinical research as well as corporate strategy and business development based in our facilities in Boston. So listing on Nasdaq is really to help us to build on that and to increase our talent pool here in the United States. And of course, listing on the Nasdaq means also building our relationships with investors here in the United States. And I think investors here in the United States have a very acute understanding of innovative approaches such as elafibranor for the treatment of NASH. So I think for all these various reasons, we're very excited to be here listed on the Nasdaq.
That's great. And today is obviously just one of many future milestones. Can you tell us a little bit about the direction that you're going and what we can expect to see from you in the future?
Yeah, so we have various different programs. Of course, our number one focus, the most advanced program, is elafibranor,
Yes.
for the treatment of NASH, and really address that considerable, important unmet need. But we're also moving elafibranor for the treatment of pediatric NASH. Okay, so children, adolescents also have a high prevalence of NASH. Anywhere around 3% of that population have NASH. So we are moving forward with elafibranor in a clinical trial to look at the efficacy of elafibranor in that population. I think that's going to be a very important program, both for the benefit of the patients as well for the use of elafibranor. To stay on NASH for a moment, you probably know that NASH today is diagnosed with a liver biopsy. You have to go in there with a needle and take a piece of your liver to be able to diagnose NASH. So we are working on a program where we are presently developing a blood test, what we call an uninvasive in vitro diagnostic approach. And based on this blood test today, what this blood test is able to do is to identify NASH patients and predict their level of disease. And ultimately what we want to do with this blood test is to be able to identify those NASH patients who should be considered for drug therapy. So that is a very important program for us as a company, but I think also very important for the NASH patient, because when the drugs get on the market, in order for the patients to benefit from any drug treatment, you have to be able to identify them, okay? And so this, I think, is a very important program for the NASH space, because this is a test where if you identify the patient can be treated with whatever strategy or whatever drug that the doctor decides to use, okay? So I think, for us, the in vitro diagnostic program is a standalone program independent from what we are doing with elafibranor. And then there are two other programs we're working on. Elafibranor is moving forward in another indication, another patient population, which is what we call PBC. And this is a severe disease, and we just read out on a clinical trial demonstrating really, again, the strong efficacy of elafibranor to be able to treat these patients. And again, elafibranor consistently continues to have a clean safety profile, no tolerability issues in this patient population as well. And then the last thing I'll mention is our program in fibrosis. We're moving forward with a program to look at fibrosis where this drug has demonstrated clear anti-fibrotic effects. And we're in the midst of a phase 2 trial now, really, to confirm this anti-fibrotic activity of this drug in NASH patients with established fibrosis.
It's fascinating. Sounds like you have a lot of things to be focused on, and you're going to have a lot of work ahead of you, and it sounds like a very exciting time to be working on this special project. So,
yes, very exciting times for us, and very proud of the teams at Genfit who are working hard and executing well, and really, really exciting times for us.
Well, Dean, thank you so much for joining us here. We couldn't be happier to share this morning with you and welcome you into the NASDAQ family. NASDAQ followers, Genfit now trading under the ticker symbol GNFT. Please stay tuned for more coverage from the NASDAQ market site. Once again, Jordan Sachs, head of our healthcare team, and thank you for tuning in.